Welcome back to the channel. In our previous tutorial, we learned Matplotlib and saw how we can create, customize different types of visualization in Python, right? Today, we are going one step further with Seaborn. Okay? Seaborn is Python visualization library that makes it much easier to create attractive and statistically meaningful visualizations. Okay? In this tutorial, we are going to learn about Seaborn practically. We will write the code ourselves in Google Colab and understand not just how to create a chart, but also when and why we should use it. So let's quickly get started. Okay. If you have followed my Matplotlib tutorial, you already know the fundamentals of plotting. Okay. So why do we need Seaborn now? Think of Matplotlib as giving us many fine control over a visualization. Okay. Now Seaborn works at a higher level. It provides us with functions especially designed for statistical visualization. That means we can often create a meaningful and beautiful visualization with much less code. Okay. And the good thing about Seaborn is it is built on top of Matplotlib only. So Matplotlib concepts that you have already learned are still useful. Okay. Then why Seaborn? Seaborn, there are three main reasons why it is basically popular. So one is like it has high level functions which make statistical plots quite easy to build and they are much quicker than a Matplotlib. So we need very less amount of code. Second is better visual defaults. The chart generally look polished and without basically us having to manually customize every little detail. And the third is the Seaborn is data aware. So it works particularly well with the pandas data frame, which makes it extremely useful in data science and exploratory data analysis. Okay? So Seaborn is not just about making charts prettier. It is basically it must make the visualization easier and it is easier to explore and understand the data. Okay, so let us basically start with these three lines of code. Let us do our basic import. We will import Seaborn using the common abbreviation like import Seaborn as SNS. Okay, we will also import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT because we will still use matplotlib for things like titles, labels, and displaying our plots. Okay, and finally Seaborn.setTheme, it applies Seaborn's visual styling. Okay, so I think we are ready to work with Seaborn. Let's start quickly with our importing. So let's import Seaborn as SNS. Okay, and then import matplotlib as matplotlib.pyplot as PLT and also set the theme, maybe Seaborn.setTheme. So you can set multiple themes. It could be dark, it could be any theme. Let me use style is equal to white grid or dark grid. Okay, for the time being, let's just keep it blank so that it uses the default. Okay, so let's try to run it. Because it is still getting connected. In the meantime, let us know that we don't need to download anything. Maybe we don't have to use downloaded data set for understanding how Seaborn works, because for learning the visualization, Seaborn provides several built-in data sets that are perfect for practice. So some of them are tips, iris, penguins, flights. Okay, these small data sets are perfect for learning visualization concepts. So we'll be using tips data set for this data set contains the information about restaurant bills and tips. Restaurant bills and tips. Okay, so how do you load that data set? Let basically quickly learn it. So for loading the data set, we will write, okay, name of the data set is tips. I will write SNS dot load data set, load underscore data set, and I will provide the name of the data set here, which is tips. Okay. So once I load this data set, let me quickly check what all is there in this data set. For that, we have already seen we use head function. Okay. Now, if I run this code, it will give me this kind of first 5 rows, which takes the total bill, okay, the tip, the sex, and smoker, day, time, and size. This is actually a very useful data set because it contains both numerical and categorical variables. Okay, so let's do a quick exploration. So for that, we have already seen how to do that quick exploration. Let us write tips.info. Okay, so tips.info basically tells us about the columns, their data types, and the number of non-null values. Okay, so here it has told us about the data types, non-null values, and which all columns are there. Another important function that we already know is describe function. So let us try to run describe function, which gives us statistical information about the numerical column. So before creating visualization, it is always a good habit to first understand the data. Okay, so let us start creating our first seaborne visualization. Okay, the first question we will ask is how many observations belong to each category maybe. For this, we will be using count plot. Okay, we will be using here count plot. So what I'll be writing here is I'll be simply using this plot dot figure, which gives me the size of the figure. Let me take 10 by 5 figure size, and seaborne dot count plot. Okay, if I write seaborne dot count plot, I'll have to give the data. My data here is tips. Okay, and then maybe I can write the point I want is x equal to day. Okay, the days column here in the data set. Okay, then I will write maybe plot dot title, that is count plot of the day, or you can write number of bills by day, number of bills by day. Okay, then I will write x label, plt dot x label, which is my day, and y label is my count or the number of bills. Okay, now let us try to run it. Okay, so it has given me a plot. Notice how simple this is. We are telling Seaborn that our data is in tips and that we want to count the values of the day column. Seaborn automatically counts how many observations belong to each day. So the mental model here is category is basically the count. So whenever your question is something like how many, a count plot can be a good choice. Okay. So we have basically seen that how many bills happened on each day. Because we are talking about the categorical variable, we will use the count plot. For count plot, we used sns.count plot. The data I have already there in tips, and the column I am using here is day. Okay. So next is bar plot. Now let's ask a slightly different question. Instead of asking how many bills were there, suppose we want to know what is the average bill for each day. For this case, we'll be using a bar plot. So here the function will be sns.barplot. Okay, the data I will provide which data set I'm going to use, then the column, and then x and y, like because we compare an aggregated numerical variable value across the categories. Let us try to do it in plt.figure again. Okay, so now I don't want the count plot. I would basically write sns.barplot. Okay, so in bar plot again I will give these arguments, my data, which so in bar plot I will give my data is equal to tips, x is equal to day, and y is equal to total bill. Again I will write the title, x label, y label, and show the plot. Okay. So it has given the plot. Notice the difference. A count plot counts the observation, but a bar plot compares a numerical value across the categories. So here Seaborn is calculating average total bill for each day. So count plot basically gives the answer of how many, and bar plot how much on average. Now let's move from categories to relationships. Suppose we want to answer this question, does a large restaurant bill generally result in a larger tip? This is a relationship between two numerical variables, right? So a scatter plot is perfect for this. Let us try to do the scatter plot. Okay. So for that, I'll again write plot dot figure. Maybe I'll give figure size. Okay, now I don't want a bar plot, I want a scatter plot. So I would write simply scatter plot here. Okay, now data is tips, x is equal to, let's say, total bill, and x is equal to total bill, and maybe y is equal to tip. Okay, I'm not introducing hue yet, we'll introduce in the next example. Okay, so this is what I am writing, and then again plot dot title, x label, and y label. Okay, so here each point represents one observation. The x-axis contains the total bill and the y contains the tip. As we look at the points, we can visually see whether there appears to be a relationship between two variables. So this is one of the most useful plots during exploratory data analysis. Now let us understand hue, because I just wrote it. So let's try to understand what is hue. When we say we want to add one more dimension to this visualization, we want to know whether the relationship looks different depending upon whether customer came during lunch or dinner. Okay, so this is where Seaborn's hue parameter becomes useful. Okay, so let's try plot dot figure. Okay, the figure size I'm giving. Now I'm adding hue is equal to maybe time. Okay, so is it lunch time or dinner time? If I add one more dimension here and I write total bill versus tip by time. Okay, then I may basically add the x label, y label, and show the plot. Okay, so let us try to run it. Now the points you see here are visibly separated according to the time column. Okay, so now we have x-axis is equal to one variable, y-axis is another variable, and hue is an additional categorical variable. So this is very powerful feature because we can add more information without creating another chart. Next is line plot. Now let's look at the trends. Suppose for this we'll use Seaborn's flight data set. Okay, so maybe one more data set. So data set is flights. Okay, so let me load Seaborn load underscore data set is flights, and let us try to print it how it looks like. So it has year, month, and passengers. So this data set contains the number of airline passengers over different years and months. Now let's create a line plot. How do you create a line plot? Again, plot dot figure. Okay, you give the figure size. Figure size maybe is equal to say 10 by 5. Now I am creating a line plot. I am giving data is my flights. Okay, and then x is year, y is passenger. The title I have already given. Now plot dot show. So line plots are particularly useful when the order of observation matters. The most common example is time. Whenever you are asking, is there an increasing trend? Is there a decreasing trend? Or how does something change over time? A line plot is a good starting point. Okay. Now let's move on to distributions. Okay. So suppose we don't want to compare categories, but we want to understand is how are the bills values distributed. For that we'll use histogram. So again, let us create plot dot figure. Okay, now I want SNS dot hist plot. Okay, so hist plot is basically histogram plot. Okay, so let us write SNS dot hist plot For that, I would use the data from tips, my excess total bills, and here because I'm creating histogram, let me add another variable here which is bins, the number of bins I want. Say it is 15 bins. Okay, so the distribution of total bills, X label is my total bill, Y label is the frequency. Let us try to run it. What does it provide me? So here is the histogram. Again, from the matplotlib, you can also give the bar axis, that border. Okay, so x-axis here contains the range of total bill values. The height of each bar tells us how many observations fall into that range. So histogram help us understand where the values are concentrated and how widely are they spread. So histogram, there is one important kind of plot which is KD, kernel density estimation. Okay, so histogram gives us distribution using bins, but sometimes we want a smoother representation of the same idea. That's where the KD or kernel density estimation comes in. For that, what we'll be doing is we will again be creating a plot dot figure size we have given. Okay, then for that sns.kde plot. I'm using tips data, x-axis is total value, okay, and then title, x label, y label, and show. Let me add one more thing here, which is fill is equal to true. We can also give more arguments like color, we can give alpha value, we can give, and let us try to shape of the distribution. So a simple way to remember this is histogram equals bins, KD equals a smooth distribution shape, okay. So let's go back to our slides. We have seen scatter plot. We have seen hue, which creates one another dimension without adding one more chart. Okay, we have seen line plot where the order matters. For that, we use the flight data set, and we basically know whether values are increasing, are there any trends, are there any repeating patterns. So we use sns.line plot. Okay. Next, histogram. For that, we use sns.histplot. Data we have given here as tips data, and we are separating it over 15 bins. This is what we have seen. KD, we just discussed that it gives us a smooth estimate of where observations are concentrated. So next is another very useful visualization for distributions is the box plot. Box plot is particularly useful when we want to compare the distribution of numerical variable across multiple categories. Okay, so for that we use sns.boxplot. Here we'll be using tips data only. We will capture the center and the spread. So what box plot basically tells us. So this box, if you see, contains the maximum information. So this is the minimum value of the data point. This is the max value. This red bar is basically the median. Okay, and this box contains maximum information. So this is 0th percentile, this is 100th percentile, this is 25th percentile, this is 50th percentile, and this is 75th percentile. So if you see, this is 25th percentile. So this part is first quartile. This part is fourth quartile. This part is second quartile, and this part is third quartile. Okay, so maximum data is distributed from first to third quartile. So you can imagine it as for example, in any of the exam, if you get 75th percentile, so 75% of other candidates are scoring less than you, right? So maximum score lies between 25th to 75th percentile, which is my box, which is this box. Okay, the red value here is 50th percentile, which is the median. These whiskers, the lower whisker is the lowest value, which is 0th percentile. Upper whisker is the highest value, which is 100th percentile. So everything is falling between 0 to 100. Whatever comes beyond lower whisker and higher whisker is my outlier. So this box plot is very, very useful for detecting outliers as well. Okay. So let us try to see how we can create an box plot. Okay. For that, we will write plot dot figure. Okay. And then in that we will give figure size, my figure size. Okay, and then I'm writing box plot, data is tips, x is equal to day, y is total bill, and okay, here it is, and then I will add title, x label, y label, and I will show it. So this is my total bill. So a box plot helps us understand the center of the data, the spread, and potentially unusual observations or the outliers. And because we are putting several categories side by side, it is easy to compare their distribution. For example, we can ask which day has higher typical bill, which day has more variation, are there any unusual values? Okay. Next is pair plot. Now imagine that we have several numerical variables and we are not yet sure which variables are related. So instead of creating scatter plots one by one, Seaborn gives us a very convenient function called as pair plot. Okay. So for that, we will simply write SNS.pair plot. Okay. And I'm using the data set. I'm using the data set tips. Okay. And then hue I'm using for another dimension, maybe say 6. And then I simply show the plot, which is plt.show. Okay. So this creates multiple plots automatically. We can see relationship between numerical variables as well as their individual distributions. So this makes pair plot particularly useful during the early exploratory stage of a data science project. You don't necessarily know what relationship you are looking for yet. So instead of starting with a hypothesis, you can first explore the data visually. Important and very useful is heat map visualization. Heat map can be especially useful when we want to visualize correlation between several numerical variables. Okay, so for that we will get the data type, select data types is equal to numbers. Okay, and then we will compute the correlation and plot the heat map. Okay, so it will give us this kind of heat map. Because I have done the annotation is equal to true, it will give me a table of numbers. It becomes a pattern that your eyes can quickly scan. Okay, so first we are selecting only the numerical columns and calculating their correlation, and then we are plotting the heat map. So next is facets. Okay, so sometimes our visualization contains many categories and putting everything into a single chart can make it crowded. Okay, Seaborn provides another powerful idea called as faceting. Instead of putting everything into one chart, we can create multiple small panels. For that, we basically use rel plot. Okay, so we are using data tips. We are having x-axis, y-axis, time, hue. Okay, so let us try to do it. Let us try to do it. So SNS dot rel plot. My data here is, let's say, tips. Okay, x total blue, y is my tip, time row is equal to maybe 6, and then we can also give height and aspect ratio. Okay, for the time being we can skip it, and then we will simply write plot dot show. Okay, so here column is equal to time creates separate panels for lunch and dinner, and hue is equal to sex adds another categorical distinction. Okay, the advantage is that every panel follows the same visual structure, so comparison becomes much more easier. Okay, so next let's connect everything we have learned to the workflow Seaborn plus pandas. Okay, so you'll actually use it in data science. Usually you don't work with Seaborn's built-in classes or built-in data sets. You will usually have your own CSV, Excel file, database, or some other source of data. So pandas will help you load and prepare the data, and Seaborn will help you visualize it. Okay, so you will be first creating your data frame or loading your data frame, then you will be using Seaborn to visualize it. So this is essentially the real world workflow. You first load the data, your CSV data, then you use pandas to clean, filter, and then Seaborn is used for visualization to get the final insights of data. Okay, now Seaborn already gives us good looking plots, but we can control its overall appearance. For example, we can change the theme. For example, like we use Seaborn.set theme in the starting. Okay, we could have used, instead of default theme here, we could have used style maybe is equal to, say, white grid. I want white grid. You can also use dark or something. Okay, and then you can also take the context, which is context is equal to, say, notebook. Now your plots will look a bit different. So if you plot it now, it has shown the grids. Because I have used it notebook style, you can use different styles such as dark grid, dark, white, ticks. So we can also change the context depending upon that we are working in a notebook, presentation, or another environment. Okay, you can also set the context to talk, and then you will see very different kind of customization. The important point is that customization should improve readability. We just don't want to decorate a chart for the sake of decoration. The goal is always a clarity. Okay. So now, which plot should you use? If the question is how many, think of count plot. Okay, if you are looking for relationship between two variables, think of scatter plot. If you are looking for trend over time, think of line plot. If you are looking for studying the distribution, maybe histogram, his plot, box plot, or KD plot to see how values are spread. And when you want to explore many variables together, you can use either pair plot, heat map, rel plot to see the pattern that exists. But remember, these are just starting points, not strict rules. The question you are asking about data should determine your visualization. Okay, now it's your turn. You are going to do a small exploratory data analysis challenge using the tips dataset only. I want you to answer these questions during visualizations. So first, which day has the most observation? Second, does the larger bill tend to mean a larger tip? How is the bill distributed? Which day shows the widest spread? What relationships can you discover? Okay, so this is how exactly visualization look in real data analysis. Okay, so here's, let's do a quick recap. So we have done for categories, count plot and bar plot. For relationships, we have scatter plot and line plot. For distributions, we have his plot, KD plot, and box plot. For exploration and multi plots, we use pair plot, heat map, and rel plot. And that's Seaborn. We have gone from row numbers to visual patterns, from visual patterns to insights. The important thing to remember is that visualization isn't about creating the most beautiful chart. It's about making the data easier to understand. And when you combine pandas for data manipulation with Seaborn for visualization, you have a very powerful foundation for EDA in Python. In the next tutorials, we'll build on this foundation and start working with more realistic data sets and complete our data analysis workflow. Okay. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial.